Hey Pre-Calc kids, how's it going? I'm going to try to break this up probably into 3 lessons. So you had yesterday's, and then today's, and then we'll do tomorrow's. Obviously that's how that works. But, so today we're going to be doing law of cosines using side of a triangle. Use the law of cosine to find the angle opposite of the longest side. This is the key. You have to, for side, it has to be the longest side. Use the law of cosines to find either of the 2 remaining acute angles. Find the third angle by subtracting the measures of the angles found in step 1 and 2 from 180. So similar steps, except for the first one is the longest side. So the angle away across from the longest side. If you're following along with the guided notes, you see that it already had a triangle on the page for us. I'm drawing it up here. We have 5, we have 8, we have 10. So we want to find the biggest angle. So that's going to be the one across from the biggest side. So this is just a note, so if you're not listening, that you have this law of cos to find angle opposite of longest side. Okay, so here we look at the longest side is 10, so the angle opposite is b. So we're going to use the law of cosines that says b squared equals a squared plus c squared minus 2ac cosine of b. Well, b squared is going to be 10 squared equals 8 squared plus 5 squared minus 2, and then it's 8 times 5 cosine of b. So 100 equals 64 plus 25 minus, so 5 times 8 is 40 times 2 is 80 cosine of b. The number one error I see when I grade these problems is people trying to combine this 80 with the first 2 numbers, and we know that that can't work, because if we did, that the cosine would be negated. You guys that were not paying attention to the fact that the cosine is attached to that 80, so we can't do it that way. So we have to leave that intact, and then we're going to solve the rest of it. So what we're really combining is this portion. So we have 100 equals, and that gives me 89 minus 80 cosine of b. I'm going to subtract over 89. It gives me 11 equals negative 80 cosine of b. I'm going to divide by that negative 80. Okay. We get cosine inverse, so we can solve for that angle of 11 divided by negative 80, which is approximately 82. This is going to be an obtuse angle, and we see that because it's negative. Well, that makes no sense now, does it? Give me 1 second. Okay, sorry, I see where my note was here. So what this is telling you is this is going to be an obtuse angle. Some of your guys' calculators actually come up and tell you the obtuse angle, but if your calculator was like mine, you have to find it. So what you're going to have to do is to find the measure of angle b. You have to do that 180 minus 82, which gives you 98. This was like when we did the law of cosines, and we had to do it finding the 2 triangle, or the law of sines, and we had the 2 triangles that we were comparing. It could be an obtuse angle or an acute angle. That's what you're noticing here. And then step 2, we're going to use the law of sines to find the remaining 2 acute angles. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to do 10 over sine of 98 equals, and I can pick whichever one I'm going to solve for. I'm going to do 5 over sine of c, cross multiply. I get 5 sine of 98 equals 10 sine of C. Divide each side by 10. Do sine inverse, and then it becomes sine of 98 over 2, because I canceled the 5 and the 10, which gives me 30 degrees. Okay, then I need to find my last angle. I don't have really a lot of space for this. I'm going to try my best right here. So the measure of angle A is 180 minus 98 minus 30, which is 52. So we're going to list these out. The measure of angle A equals 52. Measure of angle B is 82. And the measure of angle C is, I lied, we already found it wasn't 82, we found it was 98. 98. Measure of angle C is 30. And then you guys know the lengths of the other ones. A is 8. B is 10. C is 5. And that is our answer here. Let's do our try it yourself next. Okay, so here, this one just gave us A equals 6, B equals 9, C equals 4. So to find the angle that's the largest, has to be across from the largest side. The largest side is B. So what I'm interested in is still going to be that B squared equals A squared plus C squared minus 2A, I almost put B there, 2AC cosine of B. So that gives me 9 squared equals 6 squared plus 4 squared minus 2 times 6 times 4 cosine of B. 9 squared is 81 equals 36 plus 16 minus 24 times 2, 48 cosine of B. Combine these two. That gives me 52. So 81 equals 52 minus 48 cosine of B. Subtract over our 52. Gives me 9, 7, 29 equals negative 48 cosine of B. We got to get that cosine of B by itself. Divide each side by negative 48. I end up with cosine B equals 29 over 48, negative 48, and then we apply cosine inverse, 29 over 48. If you put this in your calculator, you get 127. If you got an acute angle, remember to do the 180 minus that, depending on what your calculator set in. So that's our measure of angle B. Okay. And then up here, we're going to pick up with finding our other angles. So it doesn't matter which one you go with, just as long as you're using what we just found. So 9 sine of 127 equals, and then I went with 6 over sine of A, cross multiply. 9 sine of A equals 6 sine of 127, divide by 9. Okay, so we get sine of A equals, and you can reduce this. 3 goes into this 2 times, 3 goes into this 3 times. 2 sine of 127 over 3 sine inverse. Apply it to both sides, so the measure of angle A equals sine inverse of 2 sine of 127 in parentheses divided by 3 in parentheses. And that gave me 32 degrees. So to find my other angle, I had to do 180 minus 127 minus 32, which gives me 21 degrees. So I'm going to go up here. The measure of angle A is 32 degrees. The measure of angle B is 127 degrees. The measure of angle C, 21 degrees. Yay! Okay, so this is the only thing I'm going to assign tonight. So please, I'm supposed to work another word. Today's word will be elephant. Good luck. Let me know if you have questions.